degree of engagement with that Fury of the Phoenix. IG though still gonna keep it standard. They got the Claude and the Hylos, so they're going to be playing very standard IG. This is a strong front to back with good early mid scaling, and then the Claude for the late phases.
And it does not look good for Leomon right now. The fact that the Hylos is there, the Zushin is already there, so Arrow 4 has to find some different pathways to be able to lock down the neutral objectives such as the Turtle as well as the Lord, because you don't want to walk up into a Zuchi, you don't want to walk up into a Hylos. That is somewhat of a death trap for your own health later on. But hence why Vamos is going to pick up their very own AoE control with the Yve on their own side. A very utility of a utility of a mid laner here for Clockun, but I feel like it's good enough because you can control the map really, really well, and you don't need to stand too near to be able to dish out your damage. You got your Void Blast, your...
Once more, our very first visit into the lands of MLBB at the beginning of day 2 of the playoffs. It's gonna be Invictus Gaming on the blue side versus Team Vamos on the red.
Do you think this Harith from the side of Vamos being played by Natco is gonna be the biggest problem for Invictus Gaming later on? And if so, should they deal with it early on by focusing down on Natco, or how do you go about it?
I mean, as much as as much as you would like to be able to focus down the enemy goal laner so that they cannot scale, it's going to be difficult to do so right now since Vamos does have some lane control to play with. In fact, they're going to focus a little bit more towards Sepat lane, which I think makes more sense to deny this Paquito early snowball.
I mean, we've seen a lot of Paquitos being played by Sepat, and we know the capability of Sepat going into those team fights very aggressive later on. But you see, take a deeper look at the mid side right now. Zakif and Clockun just dealing with the wave really well as Nova Escobar and Suelo. Hylos plus this Zuchin is a very classic combination. You got a lot of slows, you got a lot of crowd control-ish ability for you to deal against your opponent. But right now, Malcuti and Nako doing a good amount of damage towards each other right there.
Yeah, the Claude Harith matchup is actually pretty even when it comes to these early levels, which is surprising considering Claude is supposed to be a late game scaler. Ever trying to wait for it, but you can see that MelQT already knows the timing. He's positioning safely because he knows this is roughly when the jungler will make an appearance.
I mean, I like the trial by Natco as well, you know, just beating the Claude out of position right there to go in for him. But as you mentioned, MelQT noticed, or he's aware that the jungle rotation was definitely right there. Zakif gonna take a good amount of damage before the first turtle is gonna begin by Hazel.
Yeah, Zakif already at half HP is actually really bad. Violence has to be used. Phantom Steed comes out. They try to blink forward into the turtle pit, but they're gonna get lifted up on Arrow 404. Turtle dropping low. Paquito not able to chase down Hazel, so Hazel secures the turtle. Does end up trading though, so both junglers will fall.
I mean, that's I would say it's a 50-50 result right there. It could have been better for Vamos if Aaron Papa could get at least one kill before going down into the hands of Invictus Gaming. But props to Invictus Gaming as well at the same time, noticing where to position themselves after the Phantom Stick was used. Look at how Hazel distanced himself away from that Leomon, even though he got killed, but at least he got the turtle away from Vamos right there.
Yeah, I think it was a little bit forced from Vamos there. Ever 404 could have definitely entered the fight a little bit later and maybe even reconsidered the possibility at all once Zakif had to use all of his abilities just to survive. Still ends up being not too bad a trade, even if IG got the turtle, and the game's still even for now.
Yeah, I mean, a good focus as well from Clockun as well as Sapat right there, because Sapat did use his flicker to close the distance between himself and Hazel right there. But the last damage output came from the Yve to be able to secure the kill up against Hazel. But yep, it's still even Stevens. As we take a look at the economic graph as well, it's just a 100 goal lead from the side of Vamos. Question is, what are they gonna do? They being both Invictus Gaming and as well as Team Vamos, what are they gonna do come this second turtle? Are they gonna be focusing more on one of these lanes, or are they just gonna match up in terms of mirroring the movement from both roamers right now?
I think what's interesting about these team comps from both teams is that they have very similar activation timings. There's not a case of, oh, one team is stronger early, one team is stronger late. Both of them can play off of that mid-game spike, and if not, both of them can play for late game as well, since their marksmen scale quite well. As a result of that, it really does just come down to who has more map control.
I mean, more map control, the item progression as well is gonna matter the most. And it's definitely gonna give a good advantage to one another. Nako, Melcury.
1v1 duel between the marksmen. I don't think either of them should be dying, though Melcury came dangerously close. Neither gold laner should be able to join this turtle, though. So it should be a 4v4. Nova already dropped the half HP. Glorious Power comes out. Zeke tries flickering in. Not really able to stop the advance, but Sunfire jumps into the back. Error secures the turtle. Hazel gonna need the back out of this one. Nako joins the fight. Clockhood catches Guinevere. Nova and Skolmar gonna be trapped as well. Sunfire not able to be finished off because Yetri gets surrounded and Vamos takes the W.
I did mention to you for the silent killer, Clockhood right there. Very good RWM as well as Zaki. Very good AUG as well. This mid-duo combination is working to a T right now. To be able to secure another kill up against Hazel right there was spot on. Not only that, in addition to that as well, securing that neutral objective just skyrocket their goal right now up until 3k gold lead.
Zone control, name of the game like we mentioned, and that RWM was used very, very well. Makes it difficult for Invictus to really secure river control, especially if the glorious pathway is used before the real-world manipulation. There's just no real way out after that.
I mean, if we take a deeper look as well, on the side of Invictus Gaming, once the RWM is used, you can only rely on Yetri as well as Hazel to be able to jump onto the Eve to be able to disrupt the RWM. But in the efforts of doing that, you are going to be taking a lot of damage from Nako, from Zaki, from Sapat as well. So it's not easy peasy like, you know, just immediately goes in to disrupt Eve. You need to be able to survive a few hits for you to be able to stop or to disrupt that RWM.
I'm starting to think that it may just not be a good idea to give Sapat Paquito, actually. His movements in team fights are really, really good. He was aiming down Hazel the entire time as well, which meant the Guinevere couldn't really secure the objective easily. We are seeing a lane swap, both roamers coming over to help. But Natko definitely got an advantage after joining that previous fight too.
Yeah, I mean, a kill on his name as well and assist on his name as well. That is gonna definitely accelerate his farming later on. Definitely the Holy Crystal is gonna be one of the primary itemization for Natko. Once he reaches that point of velocity, it's gonna be very, very hard for Invictus Gaming later on because Haris is gonna pack a punch against IG.
Both gold laners will be in the bot lane, so again 4v4, fight clear, final slash, catches Zeke, but is that really the target you want? Error initiates, Hazel explodes, and Yetri disappears as well. Invictus not able to respond.
I like the initiation, I just don't like the target that you initiated. It was Zakif with Revitalize on. It's not a good idea, definitely not a good idea. It's gonna take way more than that to be able to kill Zakif, and if you can, AOG is still definitely there for him to run away.
Yeah, it feels like I don't actually mind going for the pick off on the enemy roamer, but that's if you know for sure they're alone and you have enough burst to take them out quickly. That happened in the river in front of his entire team. You have to question that choice.
I mean, with a full set of skill is still online on Zakif, spell is still online for Zakif. So again, decision making from the side of IG, very poor right there. I mean, they could have clawed their way back with a good set of team fight, but right now, they are just digging their own grave right now.
The gold lead has added up to a pretty ludicrous amount already. 6k in 8 minutes. Sapat having nearly 2,000 more gold than Yetri, already completed with the Sea Halberd. If the Paquito wasn't a problem before, he is now. And part of how you get zone control is with EXP priority. Vamos has that for sure.
I mean, for the side of IG as well, looking at their lineup, it's very difficult for them to be able to play from behind.
Into the AOG, dodge with Crimson Beacon, maybe a bit deep this time because the Violet Requiem will catch Zeke and he will fall, but a lot of damage coming through Saban! Comes into the back, the two-man knockout strike! The Paquito makes his return, but Suelo ends up picking the double kill. Error 4-4 gonna find his own. Clockhood probably doesn't want to go too deep for that one.
Oh, he got
Clockhood actually still finds the kill! Inside the base, Suelo's the only survivor.
Was there Skypiercer?
I have no idea.
I don't think so, right? There was no Skypiercer.
He just burned.
Yeah. It was just the effect from the glowing wand. It's just too much for IG to handle right now. But man, oh man, Serpat Kiro is definitely coming out from the gate swinging. That two-man knockout strike is just insane, Snava.
It was basically 3 if his first target didn't die before it even happened. I thought that ZK may have over-initiated, but it took them so long to take him out that Vamos could collapse. Serpat picks up Hazel instantly. 2-man stuns, sets up for Error 404. Even dying there is more than worth it.
I mean, not only the fact that it was a two-man knockout strike, but the target prioritization, it was against MLQT during that Blazing Duet initiation from himself. So not only he set up the kill for Error 404, but he definitely stops the Blazing Duet from going too far away from the cloud, going too far away. So again, just great decision making from Serpat, as well as the execution is super on point.
At this point, Invictus Gaming have completely lost mid-game control. They need to scale, and that means macro. I like that they're sending MLQT to split push waves, but Vamos don't really mind it too much. Serpat can handle him alone while they take other structures. Vamos, they are tempo specialists. Once they got that snowball, they don't let go. So Invictus have to hope they make a mistake somewhere.
I only got 2 words for you, my guy. Holy Crystal is online for Natko right now. Hence why it's go time from him right now. Look at that damage. Waylo cannot survive.
He's gonna get lifted up. Violent Requiem Purify comes out. He actually waits for the last second to use it. But yeah, 3 jumps the backline, finds the kill onto the Harif. He ends up dying himself though. And here comes Serpat. He's gonna get trapped under the tower. The Winter Crown keeps Hazel alive, and Suelo picks up the mega kill. Some mistakes being made by Vamos.
Okay, I was gonna be like, okay, you got the Holy Crystal, maybe not in that fashion. You want to go too aggressive right there. I mean, Team Vamos was, I feel like it's a bit of a gamble, high risk, high reward kind of thing. If they gotten a few kills right there with the Lord pushing on the top side, they could look to end it. But mistakes were made, overcommitment, but it's still okay right now.
It's going to be hard for Vamos to actually fight this, which gives IG time to work on the Lord. But Error will still pick up the monster kill. Zeke's going to jump forward, basically throw his body in to try and get the tower, but not able to do so.
I mean, good effort from the side of Team Vamos right there. Noticing that they have a good advantage with the Lord pushing on that top side, and Zakif was just gambling his life away to be able to help the Lord march in towards that inhibitor turret. But Invictus Gaming, good high ground defense from them. But still, a lot of work to be done right now. 6k goal lead in the favors of Team Vamos. Huge map control on the side of Team Vamos. Meanwhile, for Invictus Gaming, as you mentioned, I feel like this is the time for the macro play. Split pushes, and they are able to do that with the help of the Cloud. But you need someone to accompany you in that effort.
That's why they're usually sending Nova with MelQT. Right now, though, logically, the biggest threat on Invictus' side should be Suelo. The Zusin is 5-0, but unfortunately decided not to go for the Sky Piercer, probably because early game wasn't going too well. Stacks in that would actually make a huge difference for IG right now.
Most definitely. AOG?
Aggressive AOG, they're looking for the taunt. They grab the A3, RWM comes out, they're aiming the Arlet. Blazing Duet can be used into backline. Clockhood in some trouble, but look at Natko, he's diving in with Serpat. He's dismantling the backline, Clockhood is dead, but look at the rest of IG, they're going down one by one. Godlike streak for Natko! Only 2 left, and now Vamos is go time.
Whoa, we need an interview on that shot call right there. Who made that call? And that could be the winning call for the side of Team Vamos.
They're going in 2v4 situation. Serpat going to take a lot of damage from the tower. The minions are being slowly taunted away, but Nova Cobra goes down, killing free for Natko. They push straight low away.